Today, I want to talk to you about healing heartbreak. And a lot of my work is about how to avoid creating these massive heartbreaks in your life. But often people come to me from heartbreak. They come to me with these immense attachments to people who have really mattered to them in the past and it hasn't worked out with. And they are hoping and hoping and hoping for real, deep, amazing, true, juicy, lasting love. They are navigating that bridge between being okay with what has happened and dating someone incredible now. And what can often happen is that your past gets you tripped up about the future. So today I'm going to talk about what it really takes to get over someone and how to become ready as quickly and thoroughly as possible to be past someone and ready to date someone new. So this is the Sovereign Dating Channel. I'm your host, Alana Mackenzie Page, and I'm here to help you live into your allure and natural magnetism. But today we are looking at healing the past. So first I want to talk a little bit about what heartbreak is. Heartbreak is actually a physiological phenomenon that happens once you've become attached to a person, and that attachment to the person has created an identity in you. It has created a nervous system response in you. It has created a whole picture. You've created a whole picture, I should say. We'll take responsibility there. You have created a whole picture of who this person is, who they are to you, and how your life is going to proceed in accordance to their relationship with you. And when relationships end, we're faced with this huge loss. It's a loss of self, it's a loss of identity, it's a loss of future projection, and it's a loss of the relationship. It's a loss of the actual person's presence in our life, or at least the way that they've been showing up in our life. So there is a tremendous amount of loss going on, and that is usually what leads to this physiological response of grief. And that grief can make you do some crazy things. Just like any other type of grief, anything else you might be grieving, the loss of a relationship can lead you to spiral, call people that you didn't mean to call, act out, getting your hair cut. These are all kind of stereotypical things that happen when you experience that grief. And what that is all about is the loss of identity, right? It's all about the loss of identity and the loss of your belief in the future that you've been building for perhaps a really long time. Some people have been building right for decades with someone and are now facing a new reality. What's important when you go to heal this grief of heartbreak is to get into timelessness. And there's a whole chapter on this in my book, The Art of Feminine Seduction. Here's this one. And I will post the chapter down below so that you can get access to that chapter if you would like to have more in-depth work with this concept. But timelessness is really necessary for healing relationships, because we get into this space of like, I should be over this, right? That was a big one for me. When am I going to be done grieving this, right? Years would go by and it would just be like, when am I going to be done with thinking about this person, wondering about this person, getting the urge to look up this person online so I can find out what they're up to? And it just felt like it went on and on and on. And one of the things that would have helped me in that moment was to get into timelessness and to let go of the expectations of how long it was going to take. Because the actual truth of it is that when you start accepting the time and you just let what is be in terms of the emotions that you're going through, in terms of the urges that we talked about before that you're experiencing, the sooner you can accept that those are part of your life and they're part of your healing process, the faster it goes. So actually getting into timelessness and getting out of the judgment of self of how long things are taking to stabilize, return to normal, all of the ways that we wish we were being during heartbreak can actually go a lot faster if we let it go slower. So getting into this timelessness is super important and will really change the game for you if you are able to remind yourself that over and over again anytime that you are tempted to get into that space of blame about how your process is going. Another important thing to remember is that it's not just timeless, it's non-linear. So your healing from a relationship is not likely to be a straight line. It's not likely to be, I thought about him today 5 times, I thought about him only 4 times the next week and only 3 times the next week. It doesn't work like that. You also want to be in a space where you're allowing whatever comes to come when it comes. It's radical acceptance. That's what it really takes to get through heartbreak, is to be radically accepting of what is going on for you in your grief. Because grief will be tricky. It will come at you in ways that you didn't even know you would react, and it can really throw you. The way that time heals, because that's the saying, right? Time heals all wounds. The way that it heals isn't actually just by time passing. It's through you having new experiences. It's through you remembering what happened to you in that past relationship, in that past connection, and then remembering it. As time goes on, you are remembering things differently. So the idea of time healing your wounds is that it's just letting the time pass and letting your new life experiences and your new memories of what happened becoming your rich present. And the last thing I want to say about this is that even though the person that you are heartbroken over might be still alive or even still in your life, you will still pass through all of the 5 stages of grief while you are grieving the relationship. So that is going to be anger or denial, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. So you will probably go through phases where you say things like, but we were meant to be together, or I know he's right for me, I just need to wait till he comes back. You'll probably go through a phase where you are really angry about some things that happened between you. You'll remember the things that weren't so great, you'll remember the reasons that things ended for you, and you'll be allowing that anger to come up. Another thing that's going to happen is the depression, the dark days of sadness. And on those days, it's just important to find the music you love. Hopefully you have some friends around, or if you really just need quiet time to be by yourself, you have the resources that you need to make that happen. And then finally, at the very end of the journey, is that acceptance of what has happened between you, and including the break, including the ending of your relationship or the form of the relationship that you had previously, that you had put all of that stock into and all of that identity into, and you are ready for what is next. And it doesn't necessarily have to happen again linearly. I just want to drive this home. You don't have to wait a certain amount of time. You don't have to wait till you've reached a certain stage in your grief. These aren't actually conditions that are necessary for you to begin building an incredible love. This is really just about being aware of what's going on for yourself in the background of whatever new relationships you're cultivating, being aware that you might accidentally look behind a couple times before you're really ready to forge on ahead with something new. That's all for today. If this was helpful, please like and subscribe. And if you are experiencing heartbreak right now, leave a comment below with the phase of grief that you feel you are in right now. I would love to see where you're at and just get a feel for what's going on for you. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll get to see you in the next video.